them to ask for help, as well as to reach out, people in the community to reach out and offer them assistance. Government, the government through their programs, small, medium, large employers through their programs offering assistance, as well as government retraining programs allowing them to go back into whatever college, whatever public college they want as an in-state tuition. Just because they were gone from the military or they were deployed should not force them to pay out-of-state tuition. So these are just a couple of ideas that I would like to advance as a congressman.
How does pride play into some of our veterans being homeless, unemployed? I mean, because that can be a key issue right there. I mean, because we've been taught in the military, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but when things not going our way, how do we handle that? How do we encourage them to never give up?
Well, I agree with that very much. I think that needs to be, in a lot of ways, it needs to be top down, because a lot of people talk about boot camp. They try to break you down as an individual and then build you up as a team member, as a member of a team. And I think sometimes when you get back or when you're transitioning back into civilian life, that's a hard model to break, or that's a hard mold to understand. And I think we need to be ready, both on the exit interview when they're coming out of the military, as well as in civilian life. We need to have people that are aware of the difficulties that are going on there, such as Veterans Court, so that when they're discharged from the military, if they get into some issues with the law, with the legal system, that opportunities are made available to them. And you get senior NCOs in a lot of branches. You can help that person to understand that he has options and that this is okay. This is part of being human, and kind of get away from that shell, if you will, that sometimes the military is expected to put on because some of the things we ask them to do. So I think that's something we can do both internally during the exit process from the military, as well as society as a whole. I think it was very shameful what we did to the Vietnam veterans originally when they were discharged. I think the program that we had up at the Concord Speedway back a couple months was fantastic. A little late, a little delayed, but we did it. We said thank you for your service and welcome home. And I think that's something we need to do with today's vets as well.
Let's talk about Jack Brosch as far as your family. Tell us a little bit about your family.
It's interesting. I'm an only child. I have no children. My wife is an only child, and so we'll be kind of the end of the bloodlines there. But I grew up in California, middle-class America. My father was proud to actually complete high school when he was 30 years old. When I was born, he understood that in order to encourage me to go through an educational process, he himself had to go back and complete that process. He made the transition as a high school graduate or GED graduate to go with AT&T into management. He went from the unions and working in the field, made the transition into management. When I came along, he was very happy to support me, and he was a great man. And he encouraged me. I was the first one in my family to complete college. So I kind of went through that process and bringing that going forward. Right now it's my wife and a one-eyed cat, one-eyed rescue league cat at the house. So,
why is it so important to have that support of your wife, especially when you're dealing with campaigning and all the stress that comes along with being in the political arena?
Well, sometimes it's really interesting, because I think in general, people that are in politics have a little bit more alpha personality and a little bit more stronger ego. And I think having that person there that to understand what you're going through, because your good days and your bad days swing to the extremes. And she kind of helps to get you back to the center, supporting you when you're having a bad day and maybe bringing you down when you think you're having a better day than you are. I think sometimes it's good to have that home life. Also, by when you're running, especially for a federal office, for Congress, or one of the Council of States offices, you start to realize just how big North Carolina is. Sometimes I'm up, I might be up in the gym 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm coming into bed at night at 9:30 or 10, and you're gone for long stretches at a time. Having that supportive system at home is very helpful, and having somebody that understands what you're going through, and having that personal confidant, somebody that you can talk to and know. Something I took in IOPL, Institute of Political Leadership, is to remember the mic is always on. And in this environment, I think you can kind of understand that. But it's nice to also be at home when you can have that honest conversation and talk about some of your flaws and your insecurities. So that support system is very important.
You've been a business owner for over 20 some odd years.
Thank you for keeping it there.
How important is that for us to know that being a successful business owner, that you can do the same, bring the same success to the 12th district?
Well, as a small businessman, I mean, I've had to write that check. I've had to cover that payroll. So I understand what that responsibility on your shoulders means. As a small businessman, I've also had to, and as a candidate, I have to fill out the forms that the government requires, the regulations that stifle small businesses today. So I understand that. I think as a consultant working for different businesses in different industries, I get an idea and I get a flavor for the problems that are consistent among industries, sometimes government regulations, as well as unique to a specific industry, as well as building up a network around me of people that I can consult with. That, while I may understand a topic at a surface level, I have people, I have resources I can go to that will allow me to go to the next level and say, okay, what are you experiencing, good and bad, and then have that dialogue with people that are facing the issues day to day. And I think being a small businessman allows me to bring that to Washington. I think it also keeps me grounded. It's one of the things that I, hope, everybody says they're going to do it, and I'll be honest, I hope that I'm not going to get sucked into the culture of Washington and become one of those insiders that we all complain about while we have a cold beer in front of us. So I think being a small business person helps me to keep centered, keep grounded going forward.
You're kind of new to the political area. Okay, why is it so important for us to believe that you can be just as successful as prior successful politicians? Because everyone has to start somewhere if given the opportunity.
Very much so. One of the things that's coming back to me over and over again is what Albert Einstein says. And that is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. It's real hard when we see the problems that are facing America, that where we want to return to the American exceptionalism that we have known in the past, and we want to return to that, both on foreign policy as well as economy and domestically. And I think maybe sometimes it's time for a change. It's time for somebody that's open to new ideas, new policies, being able to say, I might not agree with that, but let's give it a try. Let's see if we can go down that road and what happens, being open to new ideas. One of your other guests, I believe, mentioned the fact that we are resistant to change, and sometimes we are. And I think sometimes having a new congressman allows us, a new politician, a new leader, allows us to be a little bit more open to or adaptive to change going forward. So that's one of the things I think that I bring to the table as opposed to my opponent who's been there for 20 years.
How does that make you feel, knowing that he has that much experience over yourself?
Well, without a doubt, it's a double-edged sword. I keep on thinking about the fact that November 7th, should I be elected, that's the deep end of the pool. I'm going to be tossed into that pool, and I'm going to be the baby that doesn't know how to swim. It's all going to be new to me, and understanding that it's going to be a learning curve that I'm going to have to go through and understand exactly what allows Senator Reid to stop bills from coming to the floor and understanding just the process of how to get things through. The good news is that the House, the U.S. House, has already been reaching out to candidates such as myself to offer us, that give us, okay, should you be elected, here are the dates you're going to need to be in Washington for training. And they tried to take your hand. The Republican Party, RNCC, Republican National Congressional Committee, will actually pair me up with a mentor to help me get through that policy. So I think that's something that I'm looking forward to. And I believe that with that help, I will be quite successful should I be fortunate enough and honored enough to be elected.
Okay, we have like 3 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
What would yourself, Jack Brosch, would like to say to the viewing audience?
Give me a chance. Take a look at my website, www.brosch, the word for, Congress.com. Take a look at some of the issues and the platforms that I am stating out there and what I believe in. And if it aligns with what you believe in, I would be honored to have your vote on November 6th, or now in early voting.
Why is it so important that we get out and vote?
Well, it's one of the things that I've had, and this kind of, it tears into voter ID, and so I know we don't have enough time to go into that subject, but I think, we look out there and it's our one supreme right, as guaranteed in the Constitution, is the right to vote and the right to elect our representatives in Washington and in the local, state races in North Carolina General Assembly as well as local, that are going to represent us. And these are all the people, them and the judges, are the people that are going to be affecting our lives day to day. And we owe it to the next generation and the next generation to participate in that selection process by voting.
The phrase, positive thinking creates positive results. What does that mean to you?
It means being able to look at things in a positive light and while understanding that things can go wrong and things can go bad, but it means that always waking up tomorrow with more optimism and more hope than you had today, and with the knowledge that you have the strength to make that positive vision come to fruition.
What's your ultimate goal in life?
Right now, I am a real big fan in a philosophy of a flashlight. And that is with the Lord having control of that flashlight. And He only shows us what He thinks we need to see. And right now, the Lord has blessed me with November 5th. But I haven't got quite down November 6th yet. So I'm kind of going day to day and seeing what He puts in front of me.
Mr. Brosch, I really appreciate you coming on the show, enlightening the viewing audience about yourself, and I wish you the best of luck running for the 12th district.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Yes,
I thank
sir.
you
Yes,
for
sir.
doing what you're doing, educate the population.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. You can watch this on YouTube. Just go to Paul Brown Show with guest Jack Brosch. I really appreciate Mr. Brosch coming on the show because he's one of our growing politicians, and you're going to be seeing a lot of him. So you be encouraged. Thank you.